Well, hi pre-K. It's our last day of our theme week with safari animals, and I hope you enjoyed going on the virtual safari. Maybe you got to see some really cute videos. I know I saw one after I gave you the video. I watched another one about a baby koala who isn't from Africa. They live in Australia, another continent far away from here. But it was so cute. It was so cute. He was doing his first climb up a tree to get a leaf, and he was trying to paw for the leaf. It was really cute. Anyway, the thing that you're going to do today with your mom and dad is going to choose a book that has a safari animal in it, and try to look at the picture similar to what we did with the lion and see what shapes you can find in that animal and then draw it for yourself. So I chose one of my favorite book characters. It's Curious George, and this book is Curious George Feeds the Animals. And so I had this in the pre-K library. Maybe you have a Curious George book too. Or maybe you'd like to use a different book, totally fine. But what I enjoyed about the Curious George book is there's a picture in here of him trying to feed the giraffes. So you can kind of see here there's giraffes. And so I thought, giraffes would be a really cool thing to draw. So we've got kind of trying to figure out what shapes are with a giraffe. And in this book, you can kind of only see the tops of giraffe, but I've seen other pictures of giraffes, so I think I can kind of figure it out. And one of the things that jumps out to me about a giraffe is that its face is kind of triangular shaped. And then it has really long necks, right? And the neck kind of, if you put a little line there, it kind of looked like a really long rectangle, right? Yeah, a bit of a rectangle in there. So I've got my little piece of paper here that you can kind of see. I started with his head, kind of a triangular shape there that I drew. And then, of course, they've got their ears and little antler things. And we can fix the mouth a little bit later, maybe. And give it an eye. While I'm there, why not do it? But then here, the neck, really long rectangle. Now remember, you can always make your shapes more animal-like looking after you draw them. So like, does a giraffe actually have a rectangle for a neck? No, it goes a little bit into his head. So I can always fix that later, but the basic shape of the giraffe kind of has a rectangular shaped neck that goes into his head. So there I am. I've got my rectangle, got my triangle, okay? And then there's kind of an oval shape for his body, right? So we've got an oval shape for the body. And then giraffes have really long, skinny legs, right? So they have long, skinny legs. So basically I'm doing a lot of long, skinny rectangles. And then they do have knees. So I'm kind of making a little joint and then making another long, skinny rectangle. And I do that, how many legs does it have, right? He has 4 legs. So I'm gonna do that 4 different times. And then at the bottom, he's got hoofs, similar to like a cow. So I'm gonna kind of do a triangle, or you could do kind of a semicircle shape. That would work too. It's almost like a round, triangles with rounded corners. That's another way you could say it. So anyway, so I'm drawing 4 legs, and each leg has like 2 skinny rectangles coming off of them. Okay, and there's another one. Now the reason I kind of did these directions, if you look at the legs of a giraffe, they're not straight up and down. They always have a bit of a bend to them, just like you have a bend to your leg. If you had to walk around with no knee, you'd walk pretty funny. You'd toddle around, right? But you have knees, and so does a giraffe. So that's why a giraffe is going to kind of use his knees. And then he's got a tail too, right? Which is, I don't think it's super long. I think it's just kind of like a couple curved lines and some fuzz at the end. So you can kind of see, it kind of looks like it could be a giraffe. Maybe my neck should have been a bit longer when we're thinking of a giraffe, but I didn't want to run out of paper. So there we go. So now once I have my basic shapes figured out, now I can kind of soften the edges of it, because obviously his head's not really triangle. And then I can make his lower part of his mouth, and then I can erase this little part of the rectangle for his neck, because obviously he doesn't actually have a rectangle for the neck. And you can kind of round out the edge a little bit if you want to. It doesn't have to be a nice straight line. It can kind of be rounded a little bit. And then I'm going to get rid of this because it just goes straight into their body, right? So that's the beginning of my giraffe. So that's the animal I really liked. I'd love to see some of the things that you have chosen to draw. So if you, want to post those so that we can see them, you can share them with the class, you're welcome to do that. And you can look at a book and then find out the shapes that are in an animal that you see in a book, and then you can decide to draw it on your own. All right? Well, I hope you had fun with that. Feel free to post any pictures that you choose to draw. I'd love to see them, and have fun. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.